Hi, I'm David Smith, GM of Dynamics Partner here in the U.S. subsidiary. Today is the next in the series from the cloud. Today we're super lucky to have one of our best partners, 0 to 10, talk to us about building a profitable, sustainable services practice. From 0 to 10 we have David Kohar, who I've had the privilege of working with for several years, vast and deep experience in our channel here in Dynamics in the U.S. And really looking forward to getting some insight from you in terms of what you've learned and where you're thinking your practice is headed in terms of how you develop relationships with the customers that you do acquire. So maybe we start by letting you give the audience a little bit of information about 0 to 10 and yourself.
Sure. Thanks, David. Thanks for having us here this morning. I'm David Kohar. I'm the Chief Business Architect over at 0 to 10. And we are a CRM Online partner. We've been focusing on this market here for about 2.5 years. We actually architected in the beginnings of the company right when CRM Online was actually launching. Yep. So it was actually kind of a nice fit to be able to really work with you guys right from the very beginning of CRM Online hitting the marketplace. We've been going after CRM Online organizations or customers that are interested in actually being in the cloud here for a while. We've learned a lot of things along the way. A lot of things have worked, some things, of course, haven't, as always is the case. And we've been fortunate enough to work with some of the largest CRM Online customers that are deployed here currently. And, of course, that's also given us lots of good experience to draw on for moving forward here as we go into the launch here of CRM 2011 and move into some big things.
Yeah, lots of great experiences and certainly some great results. Now, I know from working with you that you clearly understand that not all customers buy the same way. Are there things that you've learned in terms of what customers are willing to pay from a services perspective as you offer them offerings in the cloud?
Yeah, it's interesting actually. What we're finding is that again, this is just sort of just the trend we're seeing in general. So what I'm noticing with our colleagues here at the organization is that people really expect this to be much more of a packaged service, right? So they come to Microsoft initially. They're interested in, for instance, doing a 30-day trial. And so what they're tending to do is spin up a trial. And for the most part, they actually just want to evaluate the solution. They want to understand how much of this could they actually do themselves. So what's interesting for us is as we get engaged in working with you guys around these opportunities and working with these organizations is that they have a different expectation than maybe what was in the past where a services partner or Microsoft would together come to their organization, show up physically, be there for multiple discussions and meetings and demos and then look at these large services engagements. We just haven't seen that for the most part with organizations that are actually starting with moving to the cloud to begin with. Not that never happens. Large organizations still have their enterprise processes in place, but what we're seeing a lot more of is that customers are looking to consume this in a much more iterative fashion. They want to, what can I get done in 1 week or 4 weeks or whatever have you. Yeah. This is not a 6-month, 12-month sort of time horizon for most organizations.
Yeah. I think that point about large enterprises buy perhaps in a different way than small enterprises is a really important one. How are you feeling their pocketbooks are? Are the small enterprises as willing to pay as much for services as the large enterprises?
Yeah, clearly they don't have the same pocketbook. So that, again, the expectation on our side, of course, has to be gated correctly, right? So if we're going after an organization that we know is only going to be able to spend $10,000 or $50,000, right? We have to consume that from a sales process and a sales cycle time in a most appropriate way. We can't go and spend $75,000 and go make 50 because, as the old saying goes, you can't make that up in volume, right? So we are very careful around how we actually run our sales process. We are very much a virtual organization, so not that we'll never show up physically to a customer, whether it's in the implementation or in the sales cycle, but we actually ask ourselves that question all the time. Why are we getting on a plane, or why are we actually going over to this organization physically to see them all the time? And the interesting thing about it is, if they're actually consuming this service in the cloud, they all of a sudden have this different expectation that they don't need to see David and David every single meeting because they realize that all of this can be done, or a lot more of it can be done virtually, which has been a big factor in our success.
Yeah. So are there specific ways that you've been sort of packaging up your pitch or your solution, especially for the ones, let's say on the lower end, smaller users, smaller customer as a specific example? where you have a really tightly packaged solution that's easy to, for the customer or the opportunity to comprehend and maybe understand that, hey, they're not going to get a high-touch, expensive cost of sales experience from your side?
Yeah, yeah. We really have sort of 3 tiers. So think of it as the first tier is the customer that clearly wants to do it themselves. And actually, we've built a whole program around helping those organizations without necessarily having any expectation on our end or on their end that they'll ever even do $1 worth of services with us. And we've built a program around that we've been successfully working with you guys around that here in the U.S. and actually looking to roll that out here internationally. That's sort of our first level of customer. Our next level of customer is one that is looking for a services experience and an approach around that. And a lot of times we'll actually run our sales cycle very virtually with them. In fact, we'll actually almost run our entire delivery of that implementation virtually. There are actually customers out there that we've actually done multiple phases with that we've never physically actually met yet. So very much that is that second tier of organization. And then we sort of call the next tier up as our gazelles or our high growth companies or the enterprise organizations that are looking to move fast. Now, traditional enterprises still want to consume a lot of times services in the ways they have in the past, but we're seeing a big trend of organizations saying, forget all that stuff from the past. Forget you're not coming in here with 10 consultants for the next 12 months. What we want to know is how can we add value here to organization in the next 60 days or 90 days. And so even with the large organizations, we're continually packaging up our approach, which, by the way, for us, what's made the most sense for us in terms of how we've architected the services model for us is to do everything fixed fee. So it actually gets our team and our mentality around our team, not around billable hours necessarily, but more around how do we actually get through the milestones of the project? How do we actually get this customer live and successful and whatnot? So that's sort of been our sort of 3-tier approach with customers.
I love that 3-tier approach. I mean, that level of precision, I think, is exactly what it takes to be successful long term. Now, internally, in terms of how you run your organization, is there ways that you think about those 3 tiers in terms of the KPIs and how you measure progress against each of those tiers? How are you running the business from an internal perspective relative to how you're delivering these solutions? Yeah,
good question. So Tier 1, which is our Learning Labs program, very much around how quickly actually are we converting them to become a Microsoft customer is our big number 1 KPI in that area, because our expectation in that area is that we're going to grow those customers very organically over time here with respect to just different service offerings and different packages that they may want to consume, without actually ever consuming maybe a quote unquote an hour even of billable services. So very much the KPI there is conversion. The second tier up is what we would consider more of a turns on our customer implementations. So we'll look at it and say, how many days is it taking us actually to run through this this project itself? So because everything's fixed fee for us, where the costs actually start creeping up in our organization, of course, is when projects get extended out. Even if we're not working on it, of course, there's always overhead with having projects active, right? So for us, it's really that the number of turns we're doing on the projects. In the gazelle or the enterprise space, as we call it, it is much more some of the traditional KPIs, right? We're running much larger engagements with very senior people on our side, so we're looking more for our hitting our milestones in a predictable fashion there.